That would be a history of displaying empathy or working towards the employee's best interests
Yeah,
prior to that decision
yeah,
would be the best tool because it'll help them maybe give you the benefit of
yeah.
the doubt that usually this guy does what's best for me and this one time it didn't go my way versus having none of that human element or
Yes.
them having mostly negative interactions. They're more likely to
Yeah,
think of
yeah,
it from the
definitely,
opposite.
definitely. And all those things play into it. I mean, just consider everything you do as a leader has much more weight than it may appear to. If I lied to you one time, I may have to work two, three, 10 times as hard to get our relationship to where it would be or to get your trust back. Where if I'm honest all the time, whatever that honesty may be, maybe things that you don't want to hear, things that you do want to hear, a decision that you don't want, um, you have to treat those things like that. They're gold as far as the leadership follower type of dynamic, um, and you got to remember that anytime you're about to not tell the truth or swerve away from a decision, you're in jeopardy of losing that relationship. But yes, empathy, uh, openness, being genuine, um, uh, empathy, the visualization, the storytelling, all of those things are all elements that you should take into consideration when you're dealing with people. And being genuine, it was a class taught by an English major, and it was basically just a public speaking class. But he was saying one thing, guys, that you should realize, and is when you're talking to people, be genuine because people know when you're not being genuine. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. It, I can't tell you why, but at that moment I thought of so many people that spoke to my group or to me that were not being genuine, that I didn't feel like I was buying it, but maybe felt like maybe some people are, or maybe this really works for this person, or maybe I'm the only one that isn't buying it. But um, it hit me like a ton of bricks because it made me feel like I wasn't the only one that felt that way. We all know that you're not being genuine. Now, how bad do you look talking to a bunch of people that you think are buying something and you didn't really buy it? So I really take that to heart. May sound like a little tidbit, but again, it's one of those building blocks to building that relationship.
So trust building is probably the biggest skill that could help you
Yeah, they all
maintain
play into
trust
that.
when you have to implement something that they may not appreciate.
Yeah,
And
and
then,
and that trust builds relationships, and relationships is what if in the team dynamic, even as a leader, I could fall, right? And if I fall as a leader, what's gonna make you pick me up? It's those times that I picked you up, that I valued our relationship, that I stuck my neck out for our relationship, and if you see me fall, we got to pick this guy up because he's one of us, instead of leaving me behind. Like, well, he never really did anything for us. So, anyway, yes, all those things kind of play a part.
so I'll tailor this next question a little bit more specific since it seems like it encompasses a lot of what you said. But how do you handle implementing decisions, directives that you do not necessarily agree with? And since we kind of covered that with the employees and the followers,
Yeah.
maybe tailor it more towards the people giving you that directive. What's the most appropriate way to
Oh,
handle
I see.
strategically that interaction without, now you're possibly the follower and they're the leader, or vice versa?
Well, the way I would answer that, and it is a difficult situation because it is a different dynamic most of the time. But you should never sell your values and your integrity for a decision. Um, my recommendation is that you make your superior know um, what your route of action would be, which way you would prefer to go, and even let them know what could go wrong if we weren't to follow your recommended action. And if they still say, well, it's my show, I want it to go this way, then you did what you could. You can fall into insubordination if you don't follow that. And then it would be that other dynamic that we were talking about in the last couple of questions is, not every decision I make is going to be, all happy moments for the employees. Some of them are going to be ones that the employees don't like. So, but you'll know that since I have told the truth ever since our relationship started, that and then I am looking out for your best interest, that it's not coming from me, or at least most likely believe me when it's not coming from me. Then the other thing would be, because again, touching on some of the things we already talked, because I have been honest, I have been open with you, and which is something I really have done with you. I've been open to you about my interactions, my dealings with my superiors and things like that. So when that decision comes, I did keep you in the loop on it. It just didn't go our way. So that softens the blow. Instead of me knowing about it, not telling you anything, and then bam, here is the bad decision, and everybody wondering, where did this come from? So.
All right.
The other thing I would say too is one behavior, even though it doesn't seem on a conscious level, is employees are not children. They're adults, and treating them like adults by telling them the bad news, telling them about the decision that isn't all fun and games, about those hard decisions, and letting them process it. That's so basically what I'm describing. Sometimes a manager may choose not to tell the truth, make it sound like, oh yeah, we're going to go one way, and then last minute go the other way, but maybe this manager was for the way the employees didn't want to go from the beginning. That falls into it too. We're all adults. We should be able to take bad news or bad decisions or difficult decisions and deal with them, and we should deal with them together as well. So that's one thing that I'm noticing. There's some type of behavior that an employee is a child, not to be told the truth, not to be given all of the information, not to be given a number of things, and I don't think that's the way to go.
All right. Well, I appreciate your words of wisdom on all these topics. I think it'll be really interesting to see how the curriculum we've talked about lines up with a lot of your personal experiences, because some of that emotional intelligence and relationships is actually already discussed pretty heavily in there. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no